Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Zach's first time skiing. Should we hold up like a little picture of the kid's first day of school? Yeah. What are you hoping to achieve?
Let's measure him against the pillars. See how tall he is. We write on the paper, Zach, like 24 years old.
Doing good! Okay, now go. I just didn't get your face last time. Oh god. No, don't go to me. What are you doing? Oh my goodness. I wasn't expecting that much of a charge. What are you doing? Oh my goodness. Oh, distraction. Already distracted. He keeps charging the camera. It's coming to inspect Jessica's work too. Bertie! Come here.
Are you sure?
Come here. He like literally doesn't care what I'm saying. Come here. Oh, he's a fluffy, fluff. Come here. I'm just a puppy doing puppy things. He's like, okay, I'm sitting. Where's my treat?
You want to give me your paw? And you can shake. Oh, you're such a good boy. What a good boy. What a good boy. Good boy. I have nothing for you.
Disappointment. Sad puppy. Just keep doing that for an hour. He's so floppy. Let me see. Get it! Go get it! Go on! Hello, my friends. My hair is a mess, which can only mean one thing. It's deadline time. I mean, who am I kidding? My hair's a mess literally all the time. I have like the thinnest hair and it just gets wiry looking very easily. So if you can believe it, today is my first draft of my short story due. Actually, tomorrow it's due at noon. But since I'm at work, I have to get it done tonight. And our professor actually said, he's like, please don't turn it in like at 11:59 a.m. on Friday. And it's like, but that's still on time. Like, I don't understand why that's not acceptable because that's what I do. Anyway, yeah, tonight is the night. And I knew tonight was gonna be a midnight writing night. Like, it's not midnight yet. I think it's 9. And I have a lot to go, AKA most of it. I've only written the beginning. But I have a pretty good feeling in what way I want it to go, but I have not outlined. This should be interesting. Basically, like, I have the feeling of the story and I decided actually to take it in a little bit of a different direction. Last you guys knew I was turning it into this sort of mystery with a twist ending that I thought was a twist, but someone pointed out that it was actually like, you know, kind of obvious because it was the least person you suspected. And I do agree with that. And I decided, you know what, like, obviously I want the mystery element there. I love mystery, but I'm actually gonna make it heavily character based and the mystery is just kind of gonna be in the background, which supposedly that's the best way to write a novel anyway. I don't know. I'm not an expert and it's late. I don't know. I'm the best author tuber, let me tell you. But yeah, so I have a theme and I have a vibe I'm going for, and I have an ending, sort of. Basically, I have 2 endings in mind. One is very dark, and that my main character it's going to be kind of her downfall. Like the whole thing is going to be her collapsing into the dark side, essentially. So very like Darth Vader first 3 movies-esque, where we're just going to see her like start to skyball downward, but may not know it right away. Like it'll become clear. Or she's going to redeem herself, which I guess is how every main character, those are the 2 options. And if this was a novel, I would definitely do redemption. I am more of a happy, optimistic ending, even if it's not always happy for every character, if you know what I mean. But since this is a short story, I think I want to play with having a dark ending. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how I feel. Maybe I'll write the thing and I feel like she is needing to redeem herself, but I have a feeling it's gonna kind of go to the dark side. So yeah, and I did change the title. So originally my title was If Walls Could Talk, which was actually a different story idea, but I really like that title because I think it's just very catchy. But I have a new title. Right now it's just called Burn, which is intense. I like it. And there's probably a million bajillion books written called Burn, but I don't care. This is a short story. I'm just having fun with it. But it's a suspense short story. So essentially how our professor has described it. Now, every book has elements of suspense, right? Like that's what keeps you hooked. It's what keeps the page turning. Our short stories could even be a romance. He said it's not about the theme. It's not about it being a murder or like fearing for a character's life. Suspense comes from keeping the page turning. What keeps you moving forward, having to read the next page, having to continue into the dead of night. Like thinking of like a book that you read all the way through. It wasn't necessarily a mystery, but you just couldn't put it down. That's good suspense. So now another difference too with suspense is, and this might be different for novels versus short stories. Short story I think is just way more dramatic, but in novels that are more comfortable, like I'm thinking of Harry Potter series as an example. We know a lot about Harry's life, like we get sneak peeks of him in classes. So even though the story is constantly moving up towards the climax, right? Like it's not a straight line up. Like it kind of like goes and kind of like bounces around. Like we have lulls that are comfortable lulls that we enjoy, like when he's in the common room, like we hear the fire crackling, nothing really intense is happening, but it's still building towards that climax. Now in suspense, that arch is just even more steep, right? And so it's like a much bigger climb. And with short stories, he's essentially said no dip downs. Like it has to be constantly building on building on building and reaching that optimal point, that climax at the end of the story. So that's kind of intense too, because like I've only been writing in novel form for so long, and like having a little bit of flexibility to like let my story ebb a little bit, but this has to just be like constantly going. And it already proved to be a struggle a little bit. Like my first beginning, which I am going to do the before after for you guys because I think they'll be so cool, like of my revisions. But my first beginning, one of the critiques was I wasn't getting to the point fast enough. Like, you know, it started off really catchy in the beginning, and then it kind of lulled when there was some dialogue, even though the dialogue I thought was interesting, but the speed dipped. And not to say like it has to be the characters running constantly, but the suspense in the story should still always be building. So that's kind of intense, and I'm curious how I do. So I've changed the beginning a little bit. I hope it comes off well. I'm going to do my best. I think I'm actually going to wait to turn it in until morning, so I'm going to hopefully write the entire thing tonight, sleep on it, and then in the morning be able to sort of read through it with fresh eyes and actually edit it a little bit, which is something I don't normally do. I'm the worst editor. Oh dear. But I'm trying to get out of that habit. I'm gonna edit my work, people. I'm gonna do it. Is there anything else I wanted to say? I don't think so. I can't procrastinate anymore. I gotta get this done. Is it kind of bad that this was like my plan all along to write it in one go? Because I feel like with a short story, I mean, obviously I'm gonna be up late. This isn't gonna be something that can be done in an hour. It has to be 20 to 30 pages double spaced, so 10 to 15 pages single spaced. So it's gonna take me some time. But I feel like with a short story, I need to just do it all in one sitting. Like I just need to keep that momentum, especially with it being suspense. Like I don't want to like keep coming back at it in the first draft, you know? So I kind of had this idea of doing it last minute all along. I guess I didn't have to do it last minute. I could have done it in one go last week. But then would I be me? Would I be a writer? I don't think so. I think I have to do it on deadline. Like last minute. That's just, guys, it's the writing way and I'm just embracing it. I didn't choose this lifestyle. This lifestyle chose me. These are excuses, by the way, don't listen to me. Oh, and another reason, am I blurry? Probably. Another reason I have to be up till midnight tonight, you probably have seen my bajillion tweets about it if you follow me on Twitter. The Jonas Brothers. I have to whisper it because if I don't whisper it, I'm gonna scream. Are coming out with a new single tonight. I look totally crazy. Oh my God, I hope this isn't like, someone doesn't use this as a clip someday in the future, but yes, the Jonas Brothers. I'm so excited. I can't even talk about it because if I talk about it, I'll start to ramble, but just so you guys know, I'm a huge Jonas Brothers fan. If you didn't guess that already, I've been to a concert 5 times, I think, and I'm gonna go again, trust me. I've set the ambiance of my writing space, and yes, this is how messy my writing desk usually looks. Don't come at me with your comments. Sex judging over there, I can tell.
Writing desk.
Well, there's no room on my real desk. It's just taken over, and this is more roomy. This is how big I need my desk to be. Okay, fine, I'll show you all of it. It's very messy, don't look. Good thing I am working from home today because they have not really plowed. Okay, I have to show you this. I looked out the window. Look at the size of this icicle. Is that not the longest icicle you have ever seen? Like, look at that thing. It must be like over 3 feet, maybe 4 feet. I'm not good with distance, but I couldn't believe it. My mouth fell open. I had to show an update of the icicle. I can't even get it all. How long do you think that is, Zach?
6.
It is not
No,
6 feet.
maybe
I would
4.
say like 4, yeah. Hey guys! So it has been a minute since I turned on my camera, and I'm going to talk more about that at the end of this video just because I want to focus somewhat and get into what I've been up to this week as far as my writing goes, because I think the last time I checked in, my short story was about to be due. I don't think I filmed finishing it. So I'm going to kind of walk through that and walk through my thoughts on my writing these last couple weeks. I think it's actually been 2 weeks. So I finished my short story first draft, heavy first draft, emphasis on the first draft part. You know, I finished it right at the end, right before it was due. I was one of those people. I'm not ashamed of it. That is just who I am as a person. But I did finish it in time, and so I probably wrote like 5,000, 6,000 words in one day. And so one of the things I actually tried for the first time with my story was writing on my commute, so writing on the train. And to do that, I just used Google Docs on my phone. And so it actually went a lot better than I thought it ever would. I always was kind of like hesitant to try writing on my phone, like on the train, just because I'm used to a full keyboard, and I thought like, yeah, I text a lot on my phone, but like I just didn't think I would be as into it as I was, but I actually got really into it. I mean, obviously it's not like I could consult like all of my other resources on it easily, so I had to definitely be more like one-track minded. I don't think revising on a phone would go very well for me, but when it comes to just straight up writing or rewriting, I think it went pretty good. And so I'm excited to actually start implementing that on my actual commute, or on my daily commute, because my commute is 45 minutes one way, 45 minutes back, so that's an hour and a half every day that I could just be writing on my phone. So maybe a fun habit to try for Camp NaNoWriMo. But I got it done. It was really stressful. I kind of went into it without an outline, quickly realized that night before it was due I need some kind of outline, because I just was getting blocked, I was getting stuck, I wasn't sure what dramatic scene should happen, and so I kind of came up with this loose outline, and as I was writing I kind of deviated a little bit from it, which always happens with me, but it ended up tying back to where I wanted it to go. So as far as that part went, I think it went well. But what I really wanted to talk about the story wasn't so much the first draft process, but was how I felt after. Now, I don't know if it's because I've never had such an emotionally driven and draining piece. I went with the like my character spiraling down ending instead of a more optimistic ending, just because I wanted to try it, but it was draining. Like as I was writing it, I was putting myself in the character's point of view. It was a first person short story, and afterwards I was like, I don't even want to look at it. Like I didn't even reread it because I didn't want to look at it again. Like I was like, I wrote it, it's done, and now I'm done with it. I've never had that experience, and I was actually talking to my friend Nick about this, who is also a writer. He does poetry, he does novels, and he says he has a problem revising because a lot of times his stories are so emotionally driven and so personally emotionally driven that he pours it out and then he feels done, and so it's hard for him to go back and revise. And I had said at the time, we actually just talked about this a couple weeks ago before I had my own experience, but I was like, no, I don't really feel that way. Like, even though I put emotion in my stories, like for me it's the bigger picture of what I want the book to say. But with this piece, I think because I just went there, I don't know exactly what it is about this emotion that I targeted, but I feel like I got it out of my system and now I'm done with it. You know, like this is not a short story I tend to publish. Maybe I'll put it up, you guys can read it. Like I'll let you guys read it. I'll find a way for you guys to read it. I don't have a website. Maybe I'll get a website before the semester's over so you guys can read it, but I just feel done with it. Like I feel like it served its purpose, which was just for me solely to write it. I don't know, it's such a strange feeling. I've never felt that way before. Like haven't finished that many novels, I haven't finished that many short stories, but I've always had that drive to want to make it better and fix it and play with it. But for this one, it's like I have no drive to fix it, I have no drive to play with it. I have to for the class, I have to rewrite it, but it's strange. And so I have felt very unmotivated to work on that story. And it's not even that I don't think it's good, it just, I feel done with it. It's hard to explain. So now on to my main project, my novel. I am low-key, not even low-key, high-key annoyed. And mostly with myself because I should have asked. It was my fault. But remember how I said for short stories we could not do fantasy? Well, a few people in my class have had stories with fantasy elements, and our teacher like doesn't care apparently. Like he kind of is like, well, you know, because we had someone present today that their story was heavily fantasy and they were having trouble with the world building, and my teacher said, this is why I normally don't recommend fantasy for a short story. And I was like, wait, it wasn't that you didn't recommend it, you said we couldn't do it. And I'm not blaming the student, like do what you want. I'm blaming myself because I'm mad, because it's like I could have done the short story I really wanted to do with my character from my novel, and then I wouldn't be like writing two stories at the same time, because I've learned I hate it. I hate it. I hate having to focus on a short story, especially that right now I'm just not into. Like I don't want to fix up, and I can't spend time on my novel. Like I feel like my mind is just torn in so many directions right now. Like not just like with my writing alone, but like my personal life. And so it's like having two different creative pieces to be working on at the same time. Actually three, because I have my other class where I have a superhero. So I'm going insane. But my teacher did give some good advice. And by the way, I'm blaming myself for this. Like I said, I should have reached out to my teacher and asked if it was okay to do the story I was thinking. And I didn't do that. I just assumed, and that was my fault. So no one to blame but myself on that. I just didn't want to be that person that like the teacher set this rule and then I was like, first week emailing them back like, okay, I know you said we couldn't do this, but can you make an exception for me? Like, I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to share something that my teacher shared with me. So when I had emailed him my story, I had made some comments, some self-deprecating thing, like how, you know, I was worried about people's feedback. I don't know, I wasn't being completely serious, but I think there was a part of me that really did feel that way, that I was nervous to get feedback because I thought, I don't know, I was just anxious to share my writing. And so he sent me back a very serious response though, and there's one thing that he said that in particular that I really liked and I wanted to share because I had never thought of it this way. Because he was talking about like, don't be nervous, try to relax, blah, blah. He said, the only way to learn this stuff is to throw down everything you think should work and then see what doesn't and why. That's the secret to learning to write fiction, the trying and the learning. And to do that, you have to make mistakes. And he goes on to say, I still make mistakes, blah, blah, blah. And so I think in my mind, I've always framed it as writing fiction. You're bound to make mistakes and it's okay to make mistakes, but I've never thought of it as you have to make mistakes. And I totally get what he is saying. You have to do it. Like, try everything, do everything, see if it works, see if it doesn't, and see why. And I think that's the only way you're really going to progress. I really like that. It just put it in a new perspective for me and really got me to let go in a way that I had never done it before. So writing my short story, I kind of had that in mind too. And like, I'm going forward, I'll do that with revising, but like let's go into this making a mistake. Like, let's try to make a mistake. Let's put it all out there and see what mistakes work and what mistakes don't work. You know what I mean? And just that really allowed me to open up even more, and I ended up doing some things I thought were really cool. And a lot of people agreed with that. They said that that was their favorite part. Which I'll share with you guys all later when I go into my short story revision video. But to go into, I don't know how to do this. So I did just want to address really quickly at the end here my absence of filming. And I know it's kind of a weird thing to address just because I'm like calling myself out. I guess to just simplify it, I have been feeling overwhelmed and I have been not working on my novel as much as I want, as in not at all, and that is heartbreaking to me. And so to even just come on here and talk about my short story, which I have lost drive in, I feel like I feel sad. And the good news is I have the ability to fix that, and I'm going to fix that, and I've been feeling a lot more energized and like I'm getting my life together again. And I think a lot of people feel this way in the wintertime, where just everything feels just like a lot, like you just feel overwhelmed. And I kind of talked about this when I was saying like having all these different creative projects to work on, plus we've hit where we're under a year now out from our wedding, and so we have to step that up. My friend is getting married this summer. I'm her maid of honor. I've had to step up my role with that. I just feel like I have 1,000 things that are all demanding my full attention right now. And while I don't feel like I'm stressed out losing hair, I do feel like I have put my own goals on the back burner just because to me they're not as pressing. And I hate that. I hate that. Like, why am I putting my own goals last? And that's something I'm trying to address personally in my own life. And I just wanted to share it with you guys too, because I think as creative folks who set out to do these type of things, we always do that. That's why you have people who've been writing the same book for 20 years, and I don't even think it's that they just keep rewriting and they're working on it diligently. I think it's because they keep putting it on their back burner because they don't think it's a priority. They don't let it be a priority in their life. And I think I've talked about this on my channel a lot. and I'm sorry if it's repetitive, but I think it needs to be repetitive because I'm obviously not getting the message completely enough, and so I'm reminding myself of that. And but I'm not doing it in a guilt way, because when that happens, then I get even more overwhelmed, and it's a hard time right now. So I don't think it's like about feeling guilty for not prioritizing my novel. I think it's about allowing myself to say it's okay to prioritize my novel. And honestly, that is what I love about Camp NaNoWriMo and NaNoWriMo, because when you tell people you are participating in this challenge for the month or whatever, it's like a ready-made excuse instead of just every night being like, oh, but I'm working on my story, sorry, I can't hang out, or yeah, this weekend's not good, I have to catch up on my story. But if you've got like this like feasible challenge that people can go on and Google and see other people are doing, then it's like more acceptable. I don't know, and in my mind it's easier to prioritize it too, because it's like I want to be a part of it. So I'm very excited for Camp NaNoWriMo, more than ever. And I say that every year, so that just shows like I'm getting more excited every year, I swear. But because I'm going to allow myself to prioritize it again. Because, sorry, it's hard for me to like vocalize exactly what I'm trying to say, because I don't myself know exactly what I'm trying to say right now. And I guess I just feel disappointed because I was so remotivated last video. That's what my whole video is about, and the goal to write 1 page a day, and it did go good for a while, and then it just all fell apart when I had to focus solely on my short story, and I had to ignore my novel, and then my short story was done. I didn't want to write at all for a little bit. And so with Camp NaNoWriMo though, I'm just ready. I'm so ready. And a part of me, last point, I swear to God, a part of me too feels I appreciate my classes. I love my classes. Getting all this feedback has been incredible. My writing has no doubt improved, but I almost feel done with classes. And it's kind of how I felt when I was watching a lot of YouTube videos about writing and writing tips and Googling and Pinterest and Tumblr and blah, blah, blah. Where it's like, you got all this information, you've got all this great advice, and now I just want to do it. I just want to do the thing. And so I am so ready to just do the thing. And feedback is great. I love it. And so maybe it's a good thing that my novel isn't being critiqued in my class this semester, because I don't have anyone's voices right now. So maybe it is a good thing. Maybe I should be not low-key disappointed. I should be grateful, because I have now the gift of just working on it without having to hear 50 voices giving feedback. I'm going to do a whole video on Camp NaNoWriMo goals, and I will film that after I figure out what my Camp NaNoWriMo goals are. I have no idea. I have not thought about it until this very second saying this out loud. But they're going to be amazing, and they're going to be doable, because I am tired of like setting myself up for failure, and this semester I can't do that anymore. I just can't. Like, I need to get organized, because, and I'll talk more about this too, but next summer I am meeting with agents and editors for towards the end of my program. Like, that is a year away now. Well, a year and a half. I don't know how long spring is. But that is close. Like, time's up. I gotta get this done, and I want to get this done, and I want to go facing next summer still full of fear and anxiety and doubt about my story, but feeling like, but I put my heart and soul into this, and I don't feel that way right now. And I want, guys, I want this. I want this. What I'm reading right now, I'm reading Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. It is highly suspenseful, but can I just say, I had never read a Dan Brown book before, and I didn't know that it was so simple. Like, his writing style, he doesn't have great, like, elegant prose. He is just a very action, straight to the point writer, and like the whole book is like exposition or just description and explaining things, and it's super interesting. Like, the whole story is so fascinating that I'm like, okay, I'll read it, but it's interesting, super interesting. And I mean, it was published a long time ago, so I wonder if in today's age if that would fly. But yeah, I had no idea. I thought, I don't know, it's not what I expected, but I still do like it. And That is what I'm reading. And I'm also reading Secret of Shadow Ranch, Nancy Drew, number 5 by Carolyn Keene, because I needed a lighthearted book that made me feel good about myself. And let me tell you, it does. I am going to go. I will see you guys in my next video. What is today? It is March 11th. This video will go up sometime this week, so I'm guessing my next video is probably going to be a Camp NaNoWriMo goals update. Let me know in advance what you guys are thinking of doing. I'm excited. I'm gonna have to start thinking about what I want to do. But man, am I ready for Camp NaNoWriMo. For the first time, I'm looking forward to spring. I have never said that before. Spring has always been my least favorite season, but like, we didn't even have a harsh winter here in Boston. It snowed like 2 times, but I need the sunshine. I need to feel like I can relax. I've just felt so crazy, like boxed up with all these things being thrown at me, and I work in a basement. That doesn't help. I don't see the sunlight. Like, guys, I'm losing my mind. I need to get through this semester, and then summer will be here and all will be good. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Say bye, Mona. Gonna read the Da Vinci Code next with my girl. We'll read it together.